Hello darlings, welcome to Authentic Beauty Handmade Dolls and Crafts. In this video I am going to show you how to make my awesome boots. Thank you so much for watching. Hello darlings, what you're going to need to get started to make these boots for Josephine is this is some stretchy lace. I bought this from Joann's. I think it was less than $2. You're also going to need the pattern, which I'm going to upload, and it's just really simple. I mean, you could draw it yourself. And then that was a glue stick. You're going to need a glue stick and the sticky in this thick foam. I love thick foam. And some type of stretchy type leather fabric. Like this is a faux leather fabric and it stretches. It's a two-way stretch. I love it. And so what you're going to do is take the pattern and you're going to trace it onto the two-way stretch fabric, and you want the stretch to be in a horizontal fashion, so from like heel to toe. And I am using my Jelly Roll pen that if you've listened to any of my videos before, that I'm in love with because it's nice and crisp marking. And so I'm tracing the boot right now, and then I am going to sew around the markings, but I am going to leave the top portion open to put Josephine's foot on the inside. So just very straightforward directions. I always call this my caveman method because when I first started making dolls back, I think in 2003, I didn't know that, that there were rules. So I just looked at it and thought, well, I'll just draw what I want and then I'll just stretch it out. And that's basically what this pattern is. So now that I have sewn around the boot pattern for the doll shoe or the doll boot, I am now cutting it out with some really nice sharp scissors. And you want to leave yourself a little space so that when you start to stretch the boot, it doesn't pull apart. So now that you have sewn around the doll's boot, you are going to flip the boot inside out. Now there's one thing that I think is very important that I want you to remember about this little caveman technique for making your doll's boot, and that is you are giving an illusion of a foot. So it's your doll's foot is not the size of the boot. The boot is actually its own, I don't want an entity, it's its own thing, and you're going to put your doll's foot inside of the boot, but the doll's foot is not shaping the boot. So once I am now using a paintbrush and a doll stick to turn the heel inside out, which was a little bit of a struggle to tell you the truth, but you can use anything. I mean, you just have to be patient. Especially, I'm not used to working with dolls this small, but I just used the handle here and I pushed against the doll and I was able to turn the boot inside out. Now once you turn the boot inside out, what you're going to do is use some fiber fill. You're going to put the little thick foam at the bottom. You're going to push it to the bottom to give the bottom its nice shape, but then you're going to take some fiber fill about the size of a jack ball. I know I use the reference to a jack ball a lot, but I was the jack ball queen. I am not kidding. I could play jacks. So that's where that reference comes from. So basically you're going to take a small piece of bundle or portion of fiber fill about the size of a jack ball, depending on the size of your doll shoe. But if you're making Josephine, this size should be about right. You're going to ball it up in your hand, and it also could be about the size of a cotton ball as well. That's a good reference as well. And what you're going to do is stick it in the back of the doll's heel, because that's going to fill out the shoe and make it look really nice. And then once you put the foam at the bottom of the shoe, you're going to take another piece of the fiber fill about the size of a cotton ball or a jack ball, and you're going to push it to the toe of the boot, of the doll's boot, and that's going to fill it out. And then you're going to leave the center open, and in that area you're going to stuff the doll's foot in that area. And I do mean stuff because Josephine is made from a sock, if you remember, and the sock doesn't have a lot of it's not firm, and it's not, which is perfect for this technique. So you're going to pretty much gently stuff it inside the boot. And once I put these boots on, I knew I was never going to take them off again, because I know her foot is distorted because of the technique and the materials that I use to make Josephine. Josephine is really in bad shape right now. I mean, I'm not kidding, like her body, because the sock is really soft. So I'm thinking about making a new body for Josephine. I'm thinking about just using a seam ripper to take her head off and give her a brand new body and make it a little bit more sturdy in terms of like the wire, not using such a soft wire, wrapping the wire with foam, and just doing a better job. But she is really like, I don't know if I can use her for another photo shoot, because she has a lot of like little lint on her, even though I've tried to clean her with the sticky roller, those things you use to get lint off your clothes. But oh my God, I don't want to lose her. So but she reminds me of the Moon Man. Like, I made a Moon Man just for fun, just because I just thought it would be interesting to make him. And he ended up being a main character in my story, and he is in bad shape as well. And because I made him out of, I think it was felt. Oh my God, I made the Moon Man out of felt. And he was just, by the time I finished filming and doing photo shoots, I mean, right now he needs a body. He just wasn't built for that. He was just supposed to be something to do with this extra fabric that I bought, that I had made an elephant, that I was going to make an elephant with, and I ended up making him just for fun. And then he ended up being a main character. And like with Josephine has his story, and she has his little wardrobe, and I've been taking a lot of pictures with her, and I'm worried about my baby. So as you can see in the picture here, I have stuffed the heel. That's easy to correct. It's just move it over a little bit, and I put the glue stick inside of the heel, and I think it looks very beautiful. And now I'm taking the cotton ball, and I am stuffing it in the back of in the toe. But I think I was just testing it to make sure it was going to fit, because you need to put here we go. Here is the thick foam, and this thick foam, you can buy it at Michael's or Joann's, and I think it's about, it's cheaper at Michael's. It was like $1.99 at Michael's, but at Joann it was a little bit more expensive. Joann's, they do have a lot of coupons, but it's really not worth it to me sometimes, unless you're buying fabric. But anyway, long story short, you can get this thick foam from Michael's or Joann's, and I love this to make my soles for my doll shoes in general, because it's really nice and thick, but it's very easy to cut, and I just love it. So I'm cutting out these little circles, and this is going to be the ball of the foot for the doll's boot. I am now placing the oval foam at the bottom of the doll's boot, and this is going to be the area of where the ball of the foot is. and you just need to, it's very pliable and it's flexible. So you're just gonna fold it a little bit and just put it put it at the bottom. And I'm using a dowel to push the foam firmly at the bottom of the doll's boot. Oh my God, isn't that cute? I just love how nice and sharp it looks. And now I'm using my little jackball sized puffs of fiber fill to fill the back of the heel and also to fill the toe. And I'm going to leave the middle portion of the doll's boot open, and I'm going to stuff the doll's foot on the inside when I finish with the boot. I am now going to use the stretchy lace, and I'm going to sew it around the edge of the doll's boot. And I'm using just a basic needle to sew this. I don't know. I guess some people can sew by sewing machine, but I think it's best to do it by hand. And I was going to find like a thin ribbon to kind of cover the area where the thread was going around the boot, but it didn't really look bad at all. I thought it looked pretty cool, but I think that would be another way to make it look a little bit more polished. This is really a cute, sharp little boot. Now, the secret to making sure that your boot looks nice, you need to, one, have stretchy fabric, a stretchy leather type fabric that has a two-way stretch. You don't want it too stretchy because if it's too stretchy, you're going to lose the shape of the boot. Oh my God, look at that. It's just, and then the other factor is just the drawing itself. Like, I'm not, I can't draw. Let me just be honest. I cannot draw. And the one thing I like about sewing is that to me, it has like a check and balance system. If you can't draw, but if you use the right fabric, it just may turn out right. And if you can't sew, then maybe by the time you put the trim on it, it'll look a lot better. So it's like, it's like because the fabric and the decorations, it all corrects the the areas where you're weak, and then you can end up with something that's really nice. So I really love this boot. I can't draw worth a lick, but I think the fabric really sells it, and yeah, so it just make it look better. So here I'm using this trim that I bought from the dollar store, and it was in the floral section, and it has a sticky back. And so I was just going to use like maybe some type of acrylic gems or something just to give the illusion of having like lace, but this was just perfect. The size was perfect. Everything was perfect. Yes, these are the decorations. Sometimes the accessories and the decorations can really take a project to the next level. And guys, I'm just going to be honest with you, half of the time I don't even know what I'm doing. I mean, and I am being honest. Like, I don't know how it's going to work either. So I am going to put together a video of bloopers, because I want to show you some of the dolls that I've made prior to getting the pattern right. You would love to see this. And so sometimes I'll film it. A lot of times I don't. Like this boot, I actually made it 3 times before I made it for the camera. Also here, as you can see, I am stuffing Josephine's foot into the boot. You see how her leg was distorted? Oh my God, it just made me so sick. But anyway, she wasn't made for this. I wanted to know what it was like to make a sock doll. and I fell in love with her, and I just took you know, made her underclothes and a house robe and house shoes, and now she has these cute little boots, and her legs and her body was just not meant for this type of play and moving around and manipulation. So, what baby? But anyway, I think these boots go really well with her sweater dress, and her sweater dress was made with socks. My goal was to make everything with socks, and I just took a pair of socks and I cut it, as you can see, at the top portion, and then I sewed the two little, I took the neck section and I cut it in half and sewed those halves and just attached those little sleeves. So I thought that the entire outfit needed a pop of color. I always like the unexpected pop of color. So I traced the size of the bottom of the doll's shoe, you know, the ball portion. And this is some foam. I think it's a color, it's magenta, which is one of my favorite colors. And I'm just going to hot glue it to the bottom of the shoe. And I don't know if those are Louis Vuittons, but I think he has those red bottom shoes that everybody like, and they're really expensive. I don't own any, but I'm not really a big, shoe person. But I do like a pop of color in an unexpected place. It just lights up the scene. So as you can see here, I'm using my hot glue gun to go ahead and glue the felt onto the bottom of her shoe to kind of like, give her a nice little pop of color to the black and the brown and the blues. It's just, I like it. I know there's a doll inside of you who is just dying to come to life, but only you can breathe life into her. Thank you so much for watching.